When there is no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
Why are they coming here?
Memory, maybe. Instinct. Maybe they're coming for us.
When you are a forefather of horror and you can lay claim to single-handedly popularizing a subgenre, then you know your legacy is cemented. The late great director George A. Romero, 1968's Night of the Living Dead was a landmark film and a bona fide classic, ringing in the power of zombie horror and all that it entails. Still a force of a film to be had today. How could he follow that up with any hope of success? Well, you follow it up with a film that changed up the black and white grim depiction of Night of the Living Dead and supercharge up the color, social commentary, and characters with a film that many hail as the benchmark of zombie films and also horror in general, 1978's Dawn of the Dead. Somehow Romero climbed the movie mountain and again giving the world a top-rate horror film that is undeniably fantastic. How on earth could this film survive being remade and still be a success? Enter Zack Snyder. Tasked with remaking a stone-cold classic, he readily accepted the incredible challenge. The question is, would audiences accept his vision that surely walks in the shadow of the cornerstone original? Or will they walk angrily in protest, like the infinite zombie hordes that gathered for an emergency zombie meeting at the mall?
Let's get down to brass tacks.
In this Why You Hate video, and by the way, I recently did a Why You Hate the Fly, and many more. Check them out if you haven't already, or if you need some fun and a good horror discussion, check them out again. It's not going to hurt, I promise.
So fuck your shit up, boy.
Also, if you would personally like to help me decide new episodes and much more while supporting this channel, join our channel membership by clicking the join button next to the subscribe button. It's a member perk for our movie fanatics level. You know you're a movie fanatic, we all are. So, as I was saying, I'm going to go over reasons why some fans have issues with Dawn of the Dead from 2004, including multiple things that I know will be a strong debate in this community for the lovers of this film and also the detractors of it. I will also attempt, if at all possible, to show how some issues might not hold as much weight as they seem. So get ready to play some chess with your buddy on the roof across the street, get some of that lemon stuff before Steve uses it all for his booze, and reinforce your parking shuttles for a Sunday drive through a couple 100,000 ravenous zombies. Here are the reasons why you hate Dawn of the Dead 2004. Number 1. Beyond the original. James Gunn, who at the time was basically known as the quote, Scooby-Doo guy, wrote the screenplay for the film and wanted to go in a different direction than the Romero original.
I had always loved Dawn of the Dead. It was my favorite zombie movie. I'm a huge zombie movie fan.
She's like, I have to do that. I have the poster in my room. I'm looking at it right now.
This marked a special moment as he and director Zack Snyder both have been architects of the DC movies. Here on Dawn of the Dead, they would put their considerable talents together.
Inconceivable!
There was online animosity to Gunn, with petitions in the thousands to not make this remake, and even written death threats. The producers wanted to reinvigorate the zombie genre and instinctively leaned into action as the structure built around the 78 film's core story. Filming took place from June to September 2003 on location at Toronto's Thornhill Square shopping mall that was slated for demolition. Sarah Polley plays Anna.
It's really rare you have a film like this where the female character is anything more than somebody screaming and running away. It's kind of great that she's someone who, despite what she goes through, kind of takes charge a little bit.
And Ving Rhames is Kenneth, which is a clear reference to Ken Foree from the 1978 film. They lead a stacked cast of actors in the remake. Dawn of the Dead focuses on, as the original did, a group of strangers that hole up in a suburban mall to escape the dangerous zombie plague that has ravaged the world. The drama comes from the interpersonal conflicts of a group of desperate strangers stuck together in a bad situation, and I mean really bad.
And you blew it! You blew it!
And the horror it comes from the army of the dead outside waiting for them. Number 2, not the opening. One thing that I've never, and I'm talking about never ever, hearing as a criticism of Dawn of the Dead was the opening of the film.
Inconceivable!
Zack Snyder has a very stylish and unique way of crafting openings to his films.
Wrong as usual. The United States' lack of action in Eastern Europe proves that the Soviet Union's aggression.
And I'm looking at you, Watchmen. And this one is no different. It starts off so innocently with Sarah Polley's Anna finishing up her shift as a nurse at the hospital. You start to hear about people being brought in with bite wounds, injuries, and such. This was a big foreshadow to what we would see in the rest of the movie. She drives through a beautiful, peaceful neighborhood leading to her home. There we see her husband, Louis, and they hang out, watch TV, and fool around. It's just a regular and normal night for a loving couple. But unbeknownst to them, on the TV is a special bulletin that was a warning for what was to come. One of the young neighbors, a little girl, comes in and wakes them up in the early morning. The girl viciously bites Louis and it is officially on, and I'm talking about let's get ready to rumble style. Anna tries to help stop Louis's bleeding, but she can't. He dies right in front of her as she's calling for help. It is the signal shot for some zombified mayhem, and we all knew it. And sure as hell, he comes back as a zombie minutes later and attacks her. She runs to the bathroom and falls backwards into the tub with the type of force that still gives me headaches just seeing it. Shout out to Sarah Polley for making the scene feel so organic and real. Anna is absolutely confused about what's going on.
You're shouting it from the back of a horse.
She slowly, and I'm talking about slowly, steps out of the tub and goes to the door. Of course, it's a jump scare of Louis busting a hole in the door. Anna barely gets out of the window and drives off while Louis shows us that these zombies have a big upgrade on the Romero ones. These zombies run, and they run fast. Louis was looking like he was trying out for the Olympics. Some people are not big on the brutality and bleakness of this opening, and I can see that viewpoint, but just wait, because it's going to get even worse. Anna drives past cars on the side of the road, vehicles colliding into explosions, zombies tearing up people, and helicopters flying low enough that you'd think this was a setup for the latest Ethan Hunt stunt. And guess what? This is all the first 10 minutes of the movie. Zack wanted to start this off strong. The panic and breakdown of Anna's surroundings is very heavy, but I think it is well done and essential for the setting of the tone for what this version of the film is aiming for. Many people get lost in the terror because of how real it seems, and it definitely plays like I'm sure it would in the real world. In my opinion, and you know I'm your Huckleberry, this has one of the best openings in horror, case closed. Number 3, action versus horror. Some complaints of Dawn stem from its amped up intensity that straddles the line between horror and action spectacle.
That would be inconceivable.
The choice to go in this direction is inspired to say the least, but it does diminish some of the shine that the 1978 film has because that film focused more on character and consumerism while allowing spectacle to accentuate it organically. The original had moments of action and it was well done, but it's not even in the same hemisphere as this new iteration. Make no mistake, I find that the mindless action is great to look at, but it doesn't cement the story more versus spending time with the characters and their interplay that is haunted by paranoia, fear, anger, and ego. To role reverse such as James Gunn and Zack Snyder did truly created space between the films, but may have ultimately made some not take the remake as seriously. I mean, there were moments in the film that were batshit crazy. We're talking about 1 million zombies decided to head on over to the local mall in this film. Why'd they do that? Look at how many there are. Are there that many zombies in that city? Most of the zombie makeup in the film was modeled after real and gruesome forensic photos. The look of the zombies was very effective to say the least, and when I say effective, that is low-key lingo for that they were freaking gross looking. I saw some people in the theater turn their heads away because of how realistic and gross the zombies' appearance were. Welcome to a zombie film with top-rated practical effects, people. Fun fact. Different colors of blood were used for zombies in different stages of decomposition. Red for the recently dead, a browner version for the ones that have been dead for a few weeks, and a blacker, oilier version for the ones that have been dead for a considerable period of time. Number 4. Track star zombies. There are some people that are not fans of the running zombies. They prefer the slow, shuffling ones of the Romero films and many others. I can understand that. I have a fondness for the slow ones too. They make you scared in a different way. You are anticipating what could happen more so. You could be lulled into being off your guard with them. At the end of the day, it's a numbers game with the slow zombies. And that is the true terror of it all. The fast zombies get your heart pumping immediately to 100 miles per hour. It is more frenetic and action-oriented in nature because you have to run or do something quick, otherwise you're toast. Zack Snyder said that the reason his zombies run at full speed is because he wanted to avoid the inherent comic impression given by slow shuffling undead. The same technique was used to show The Infected in 28 Days Later from 2002, which was a direct inspiration for this film. Shout out to 28 Days Later, and yes, I know they were not quote-unquote zombies in that film. They were infected with the rage virus. But let's be real, they are absolutely and positively tailored after zombies.
You're goddamn right.
So don't even get into an argument about it in the comments, as I know someone inevitably will. I'm looking at you. That is about to comment about it. I see you. Number 5. Stupid shit. Okay folks, we are heading to Genius University. We all know that in horror movies there's always people that make poor choices. For zombie films, more often than not, you have to multiply that by 100. For every smart person and good choice, there is 5 more on the other side of the intelligence coin. Anna makes a lot of good choices and shows that she is a survivor. Kenneth also is a survivor. Understandably, he wanted to go to Fort Pastor to get his brother, even though it is revealed that Fort Pastor is overrun by the zombies. Thankfully, Kenneth woke up to reality and stayed at the mall. Michael, more than anyone else, was quick thinking on his feet. Plus, he was able to strategize beyond the moment, even in the face of adversity. He gets the gold star in the film, the salesman extraordinaire. But then we get to Andre. I mean, if your girlfriend gets scratched, you obviously want to be protective, but all seriousness, at this point, you have the knowledge of what's going on and where things are headed for her. Add to the fact that she's pregnant. Not a good gameplay, Andre. Not a good gameplay.
And you blew it! You blew it!
You and Luda got dealt a shit hand, no doubt, but damn. And let's get to the master blaster of intelligence, and that's Nicole. Now, I'm an animal lover, no doubt. I love dogs, but how in the hell could you go after Chips through a sea of 17 million pissed off zombies? This girl is ready to make that happen. It led to tension, mayhem, and the death of Tucker. Thanks, Nicole. Granted, they were able to get some ammunition and get gunned up. Steve also had a cowardly, stupid moment after the crash, leaving Kenneth and the others as if he could survive alone. He meets his demise and pieces out quick. Anna made sure of it. This movie depicts a crappy situation, and yes, the characters have tough decisions to make constantly, but there are certain choices that are definitely not intelligent. Do better, people. Do better. Number 6. Dark scenes. Dawn of the Dead is filled with dark and very heavy scenes. I remember seeing it in the theater, and some people were definitely getting triggered by the intensity and the violence. I can understand that. There's plenty of it throughout this entire film. The beginning of the film shows the world crumbling before our very eyes. The opening credits gives us very little hope, as even the government isn't safe from the apocalypse. But wait, it's going to get worse. A really difficult scene is when Frank is revealed to have been bitten. Michael and Kenneth decide he needs to be killed before he turns and attacks the group. His daughter Nicole has already lost her mother and siblings. It is a tough scene that is played out with emotion, even by Kenneth, who stands guard ready to shoot Frank. Rest in peace, Max Headroom. If you know, then you know. But even worse than that, the pregnant zombie situation was absolutely crazy. Andre has Luda tied up as she's in labor. I must admit, this is some shit I had never seen in a zombie movie. Luda dies and then comes back as a zombie. Okay, that is bad, but it's going to get even worse. Take your coats off, people, and get comfortable. She gives birth.
Yay!
Then we have a shootout with Andre and Norma. Granny is gangster with the gun. Both die, and just when you thought it couldn't get heavier, the others come to the room, and Anna opens the blanket to reveal a zombie baby. What in the George A. Romero is going on here? This reveal caught us all off guard in the theater back in 2004. The question is, what would happen next? Well, let's just say that Anna takes care of things. That's the breaking point for the survivors, and maybe for the audience as well. How much more can you take in this movie? How much more bleakness can you be a part of? The survivors realize that they gotta get out of this mall. Waiting to die is a bleak existence. Fun fact, according to the quote-unquote lost tape, which contains gun shop owner Andy's personal video diary, accessible as a bonus feature on the director's cut DVD, the main characters arrive at the mall early in the movie on May the 9th. Therefore, the movie opens a day earlier on May the 8th. Andy mentions that the attacks on citizens by the undead had already started on the 7th. Andy makes his last entry just before he turns into one of the undead on June the 6th, and the movie ends on that same day, not including the footage during the end credits. This places the events of Dawn of the Dead in a space of just 29 days, and all the action between the credits begins and ends at dawn. Number 7, the Zack Effect.
Remake of Dawn of the Dead is a sacrilegious act that I have embraced. I can't apologize for it because we had so much fun doing it, but at the same time, I was aware that I was treading on some hallowed ground.
It has become fashionable to rail on Zack Snyder and his movies. There's a fan base that truly does love his work and his talents, but on the other side, there are tons of people that see him as a talentless, overhyped director.
Dummies! You're suggesting dummies! Dummies! Excuse me. Listen, quiet.
I enjoy most of his work, but also see where he's had multiple missteps, especially when he is the one that writes the scripts. The truth of the matter is that no director is perfect. That said, Zack Snyder started his directing career with this film, and it was written by James Gunn, so I think this movie and his ability should be looked at as a beginning effort accordingly. Whether it's Watchmen, 300, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, or Justice League, Zack Snyder has given fans a lot of fun films over the years. Perhaps he will never reach great director heights for the masses. Perhaps he will. Number 8, the finale. Talk about cutting the legs out from under this story. People were getting aced out right and left in quick order. After the buses move through the infinite sea of zombies, for some reason, we all start driving recklessly and flooring it to 75 miles per hour in buses. Really no reason to do this at all, as if we're on the clock. So of course there is an accident. People are chainsawing each other like Leatherface during a Texas parade. The bus flips, and that means the zombies can catch up to the survivors. Michael takes a bite to save Anna. They make it to the marina as CJ makes the heroic sacrifice. Great. Now that we really like him, he's got to get killed. There is frustration with what's happening faster than these zombies can run, but it gets worse. During the end credits, we find that they actually make it to the island, and guess what? Zombies are there waiting to greet our last remaining survivors. The camera falls to the ground. Game over, people. No hope, no winning, everyone loses. As bleak as it can get, Zack Snyder drops the mic. At the end of the day, Dawn of the Dead rocked horror like a half-off sale in your favorite store in the mall. And don't lie, it's probably still Spencer's. And we as fans must deal with it in our own way. You have to ask yourself, is this a worthy remake of the classic, or did Zack Snyder make a fundamental flaw and steer it wrong like Kenneth did in the souped-up bus? That is a question only you can answer. As always, this video is not here to make you love Dawn of the Dead, or to hate it. It's simply a discussion to highlight the history and aspects of it with you, the viewer. So what do you think? Are you a fan of Dawn of the Dead? If so, tell us why. If not, let's discuss why you hate Dawn of the Dead. If you haven't hit the like button for more content, please do. If you're not subscribed to the Nightwatch Zone, this is the time to do it. Do it and become part of this fantastic movie community where you'll never love and talk about movies the same. If you like this video, check out my other Why You Hate videos and other content here, and I'll see you there. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Nightwatch. Peace.